Welcome everyone. Today's topic is how to get funding for your deals. Whether you're a new investor, we've got ways for you. Okay, so I'm gonna explain to you the foundation that you need to have in place to get tons of money. Okay, it's like free money, and on top of that, once you have your funding line up, how to utilize it, meaning finding great deals, right? Because if you have funding but you don't have deals, then you cannot move forward. So you need both. You need great deals and then you need to have funding line up, okay? So let's dive into it. So this is what we're gonna focus today. Foundation is making sure that you have your entity, and then number two, lining up funding, and then obviously accessing great deals. So we're gonna focus on the different type of funding that you can have access to. But before that, we need to focus on some basics, okay? So step number one, this is critical. You've got to set up your business entity, LLC, S Corp. Super important because without it, you cannot get enough funding if you want to be in real estate. Okay, you're going to be running out of your own money, and not only that, you won't be able to grow. So I cannot stress this enough. So I'm going to give you a tip of advice. If it's only yourself as the investor, please create an S Corp, okay? Do not create a C Corp because C Corp, the disadvantage is that you have double taxation at the corporate level and then at the personal level. And then if you are two investors, like you and your partner or more, then create an LLC. And I'm going to tell you the three big benefits of setting up your entity. Number one, asset protection. So if somebody sues you, let's say they fall outside your property, then you're going to be protected. Your personal assets are going to be protected. That's benefit number two. Benefit number two, benefit number one. Benefit number two is funding. You're going to have access to a lot of funding through your entity, not through your personal name. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. The reason why banks want to give money to your entity and not to your name is because Illinois happens to be a judicial state. What does that mean and why would I care? Well, you do need to care and it is super important. The fact that Illinois is a judicial state means that if for whatever reason the owner defaults in the mortgage, then the bank is going to need to go through the court system to foreclose on the owner. And that process can take up to 2 years, okay? Versus non-judicial states like California is an example of it, where the banks do not need to go through the court system to foreclose on the owner. So they can foreclose on the owner as quickly as 6 months. I mean, it's just insane. So it is super important for you to understand that banks in Illinois will favor lending money to your entity, okay? Because should you default, they're gonna take over the asset immediately in 3 to 6 months. Okay, they don't want to go through the entire foreclosure process under your name because that can take up to 2 years. And then benefit number three is tax benefits. And this is huge. And this is why the richer become richer and the poor become poorer, because the rich leverage from taxes. So I'm going to give you an example. If the rich make $1,000, they're going to get to keep that much. But if the poor makes $1,000, guess what? They're going to need to pay 20, 30% to the government. That's a big difference. So how do you save money when you have an entity when it comes to taxes? Let me tell you, the biggest tax benefit is depreciation. Okay, that is huge. Okay, so when you buy an asset, the real estate, you're going to depreciate that over its lifespan. And those are huge tax savings. So if in real estate you make $1,000, guess what? At the end of the year, when it comes to tax returns, you're going to get to keep most of it, okay? Because depreciation is going to bring down your taxable income to almost nothing. So it's just an incredible benefit. Okay, so again, three big benefits. Number one, asset protection. So your personal assets are protected from a lawsuit when you own real estate. Benefit number two, funding. Banks are going to give money to your entity, not to your name, right? Because should you default, then they're going to take over your asset if it's under your entity versus your name, because under your name can take up to 2 years. So banks do not want to give money to your personal name. It is way too risky. And number three, tax benefits, depreciation. That's a huge benefit for you to keep as much money as you make in real estate. Okay, so that is just the foundation that you have to understand, that you have to know. Okay, so now next, let's dive into it. So I'm gonna give you my 3 favorite resources. If you still don't have an entity, remember, if it's only yourself, create an S Corp, use LegalZoom. There are other 2 resources. It can take up to a week to get all the paperwork, your articles of incorporation, your bylaws, and your operating agreement. All 3 legal documents that you're going to require for funding. And it can take up to, give and take, about a week to get everything back from LegalZoom, and it's going to be between $400 to $650. Okay, it's totally worth it. So if you don't have an entity, you can be set up with an entity in about a week. Okay, it's a must. Okay, if you want to be in real estate. Now, once you get your entity, please open up a business checking account, and now this is where most investors fail to tap into one of the most powerful ways to raise funding for your deals. Apply for business credit cards. I mean, this is huge, friends. So what this is it's a regular credit card, but it's under your entity name, under your business name. And why is this so important? Because again, it comes back to what I told you before. Banks are very hesitant to give money under your name, right? Because you can default, you can lose your job. It's just too risky to versus to your business. Okay. For some reason, I was just blown out of my mind. I hired a company. There are multiple companies that all they do is apply for business credit cards. But the only drawback is that they're going to charge you 10% of what they're able to get you. So let me give you the example. This company applied for business credit card, and guess what? All they do is fill out application forms online. That's all they did for me. They were able to get us 7 business cards, totaling 40,000. And guess how much we had to pay to them? 10% of that. So that's 4,000. To me, that was such a waste of money. But don't worry, because we're going to give you the name of the business credit cards, their contact information, so that you can do that yourself and then save that 10%. So right off the bat, let me show you. These are the name of the business credit cards that we're going to give you, okay, for you to apply for business credit cards. And one of the big differences between business credit cards and personal credit cards is that even if, let's say, you have $1,000 in line of credit, even if you use all of it, guess what? It doesn't affect your FICO score. That is huge. So you can have a huge leverage on your business credit card and won't affect your FICO score. It will only affect your FICO score if you miss a payment, okay? Then that's going to be reflected in your personal FICO score. But the second best advantage is that I was impressed how easy it is for the banks to give you money. So right off the bat, without me having a job or anything, we got 40,000 in business credit cards. Not only that, but not too long ago, I got a letter from this credit card that I don't even use, PNC Bank, and they were increasing our line of credit by like 10,000. I mean, it was just insane. I didn't even request it, and they increased it. So I got in the habit of calling the bank every other month just to increase the credit line. So the starting credit line, I think it was for one of the credit cards, I think it was 15,000. So I said, hey, I'm calling to request a line increase. And they would say, well, Mr. Galicia, what's the reason for the line increase? And I said, well, business growth, acquisition, real estate. Okay, please hold the line. After a few minutes, they came back and said, your request has been approved. We've increased your credit line by 10, 15,000. I mean, it was just mind blowing. They didn't even check tax returns, income tax, nothing. Okay, it was just mind blowing. So I could choose to that. So every other month, pretty much we did the same thing. Called and said, I need a line increase due to business growth. So let me show you one of our credit cards. As of like right now, it's got a credit of 120K. I mean, I just could not believe that. And I don't have a W-2, I don't have a 1099, and then cash advance up to 24K. I mean, this is huge. Should you need to do a rehab right away, or should you need to put the money for the down payment on a purchase? You can just walk into the bank and say, I want to tap into my, I just want the cash advance, 10K, 15K, boom. Of course, it's going to be at a very high interest rate, maybe 15 to 20%, but you have access to money. And the key in real estate is to use OPM, other people's money, other people's time. So this is going to be huge for growth, to utilize other people's money. In this case, you have to tap into business credit cards. Okay, so this is just big, and many investors do not take advantage of this. So we've been using business credit cards left and right, because let me tell you, when we do rehabs, guess what we use to pay for labor materials? We use business credit cards. We're gonna get financing for the rehab from the Harmony lender, but they don't give you the money up front when you start the project. You have to fund the project yourself. Once you complete the project, then they're gonna give you the money. So that's when we use that money to pay off the business credit cards. Does that make sense? So at the end of the day, we put very little or no money out of our pocket. We're just leveraging from other people's money. In this case, the business credit cards. So we use them again for two things: to do rehabs, and to, if we need to pay like a cash bond to the village to start the project, or if we need money for a down payment, we tap into the cash advance. So now let's talk about financing. This is our favorite financing option, Harmony lenders. Okay, so what are those and when do you use them? Harmony lenders, it's quick, easy money. 2 to 3 weeks, it's like cash. Okay, the only drawback is that it's expensive. So you're gonna pay, I've seen somewhere between 9 all the way to 17% interest rate. It's a short-term loan, so it's gonna be 4 to 12-month term, and that's about it. The great thing about Harmony lenders is that they are asset-based, so they don't care about your income tax return, they don't care about your 1099 W-2, they care about you having a great deal. So if you have a great deal with equity that, if you decide to keep for rental, is going to cash flow, and that it meets their debt coverage ratio of 1.2, you're gonna have the money. Okay, that's so critical for them. So it's asset based, because most of the properties that you're gonna be buying are not moving ready, they need some work. Therefore, Harmony lenders are the best option, because not only are they going to finance up to 90% of the purchase, but they will finance 100% of the rehab. So if your rehab is 30, 40,000, they're gonna finance all of it. But again, what I told you earlier is that you're gonna need to pay for it first, and then they're gonna reimburse you once you finish the project. So Harmony lenders are my favorite. Okay. Next, we have, what you need to do with Harmony lenders is apply for a business line of credit. Okay, that is huge, and this is the second mistake a lot of investors make. They do not line up funding from Harmony lenders, and this is just huge. So what we've done is we have over 20 Harmony lenders lending today during COVID-19. I mean, it is just huge. So this is the list that we're going to make available to you. Some of these lenders are local, some others are nationwide. So they are going to be actually lending money right now if you have a great deal with equity, cash flow, and the debt coverage ratio is 1.2. We're going to talk about the debt coverage ratio in a little bit later. But so what is it that you need to do with them? You need to reach out to them and ask for a line of credit. So what they're going to do is they're going to ask you for your liquidity, meaning how much savings, assets you have right now. And based on that, they're going to give you a line of credit so that you can use to purchase real estate. It's like a humongous credit card. So this is what it looks like. So here it's line of credit that it's approved for a rehab loan or fix and flip. Okay, so it states the term of the loan. So up to, in this case, 500K, and then the interest rate and so forth. So all the details, all you need to do again is reach out to them and say, you know, I need a line of credit. And every Harmony lender uses a different term. So some of them, they use line of credit, some other use proof of funds, some others say pre-approval letter. Whatever the term they use, all you need is a letter from them stating that you can tap into their funding. So this is an example of one of them, and this is an example of another one. In this case, I highlighted. So they call it proof of funds, okay? And so in this case, this is for 300K. So why is this so important? Because you're lining up funding. So when you're ready to pull the trigger, you can present this letter along with your offer to the seller, and that's going to make your offer extremely strong. Now, the reason why in this case I said, you know, just give me one for 300K is because we're not purchasing properties over 200,000. Okay, it's that simple. So I don't want to show a letter that says 500,000 or even more, right? Because then that affects our bargaining power to negotiate the deal. So that's one example. This is another example from a Harmony lender. So again, they call it different ways, but you need a pre-approval line of credit or funds letter. That's simple, okay, from any of these Harmony lenders, and it's so easy to get. I mean, you can get it in a day, and they can email it to you like right away. So it's so simple. So once you have this letter, let's assume that you find a great deal, that you're ready to move forward. So since they have your profile and they have in their system, all they're gonna do is ask you for the deal. Okay, so send them the deal, and then they're just gonna go through underwriting to fund the deal. It is very, very simple. This is the third option. Okay, so now that I show you the line of credits from Harmony lenders, a third option is government stimulus, CARES Act, so SBA loans, PP loans. They're gonna be given to your entity. So we got about 30, 40K on a business loan. So again, these loans are given to your entity. They're not going to be given to your name. That is why you've got to have an entity. Okay. So what are we going to do with these? We're going to obviously buy more properties. So again, super, super important. SBA loans. So you can go to sba.gov and they still approve twice $3 billion only for businesses, okay? Which is huge, right? It's a huge stimulus created by Trump. It's called CARES Act, SBA loans. So please make sure that you apply to business loans from the SBA, so Small Business Administration Department. Financing, let's continue talking about financing. A third option that you have is private money lenders. Okay, so what are private money lenders and what is the difference between private money lenders and Harmony lenders? So private money lenders are individuals versus big institutions, meaning Harmony lenders. So Harmony lenders are institutions, really big ones, okay, backed up by mutual funds. And then private money lenders are individuals like you and I, but they chose to be passive in real estate. So they're going to give you money in exchange for a return. It is that simple. So again, quick, easy money, but the difficult part is that these are relationship based, okay, versus the big hard money lenders or institutions. So here with private money lenders is who you know. You've got to build rapport. They've got to get to know you at a personal level. They need to understand your goals, your exit strategies in real estate, and obviously you have to have a great deal. Again, these are asset based, and this financing is a little bit cheaper than hard money lenders. Average is 12%. 2 points. So a point is 1% of the loan. And then again, it's a short-term loan, 4 to 12-month term, private money lenders. So it's a great source of financing because guess what? They can finance up to 100% of the purchase and 100% of the rehab. I mean, it's just like huge leverage. But of course, the key is that you have a great asset with equity, and private money lenders are going to be super interested in lending money. So we have in ChicagoDealVault over 6,000 private money lenders. You can look them up by zip code, by area. So these are individuals that have lent money to investors like you and I, okay, in the neighborhoods that you're looking for deals. It is that simple. So what we've done is to build up a relationship and line of funding from private money lenders. We reach out to them, and even before we find a deal, okay? So in ChicagoDealVault, we show you when they lend money, in what property, how much. So we reach out to them and say, Mr. John Smith, I understand that you lent money on this property on this date. So I'm a real estate investor investing in the same area. Would you be interested in making a 12% return on your money? I'm currently looking for some great deals. They might say, yeah, of course. Bring me the deal. If you have, once you get it on the contract, I'll be interested in looking at it. So that's how you start building relationships with them to line up funding for your deals. So this is a great source of funding for your deals. So please do not ignore private money lenders. And again, we have over 6,000 private money lenders in ChicagoDealVault. And not only that, but we have members in ChicagoDealVault that are currently lending. So they are private money lenders lending to others, other ChicagoDealVault members. Super, super important. Again, this is relationship based and they are asset based. So they care about the deal itself. They don't care about your tax return, your W-2, 1099, none of that stuff. They want to make sure that you have a great deal, that you have a clear vision of your exit strategy, whether it's going to be a flip, a buy and hold, because they want to make sure that you understand the deal itself and that you are going to have a successful exit strategy, okay? Now, the next financing option is conventional lending, okay? These conventional lenders are the big banks, okay, like Chase, Bank of America, PNC, and we don't use them upfront on the purchase. We use them on the back end. In fact, our preferred partner is Homebridge, Juan Loya. Now, the way we use them is after we purchase the property using a hard money lender or a private money lender, we rehab the property, we rent the property, and then once we rented the property, we're ready to pay off that expensive loan, right? So we're gonna turn that loan into a long-term rental, lower interest rate loan, okay? So we're gonna be using conventional banks to pay off the hard money lender and put the loan into a 20-year, I like to put it into 20 to 25-year term. And the interest rate right now is historically low. So you can get rates in the low fives, mid fives, and I've seen some upper fours. So it's just a great time right now to refinance. In fact, right now we're in the process of refinancing like 5 properties. Because interest rates are so low right now. So this is conventional financing used on the back end. Okay, that is why you have to have equity in the deal, because conventional lenders are going to require for you to have 25% equity on the deal. So what does that mean? What it means is that, for instance, you bought a property for 100,000, you spent 50,000 on the rehab, but the property is worth 200,000. Okay, so they want you to have 25% of that, or 50,000 in equity. So they're going to be able to lend you up to 150,000 on the property, which is all you need, right? To pay off the outstanding loan and the rehab from the Harmony lender. So again, they're going to require you to have up to 25% equity on the deal. So that is why when I show you some great deals that have a lot of equity, it's very easy on the back end to refinance. But let me give you a rule of thumb. The rule of thumb to find a great deal for you to be able to refinance on the back end successfully is to have a spread of at least 75 to 100,000. So what does that mean? What it means is that if you buy a property for 150,000, you need to add an 100,000. So the ARV on that property after repair value should be no less than 250, 225, 230 to 250. If you hit that number, you've got a great deal. So long the rehab is less than 40,000. That's the big rule of thumb. So if you have that, then you're going to be able to not only get funding for your deal, but also on the back end, you're going to be able to refinance. So that's the rule of thumb that you should take into consideration when analyzing great deals. So now, before I move forward into the case study, I would like to quickly summarize what you need to do, okay? You need to set up an entity. And the reason why you need to set up an entity is, number one, asset protection. Number two, to get funding. Number three, tax benefits. The biggest tax benefit is depreciation. So once you have that foundation, then you can tap into business credit cards. Okay, the cool thing is that it doesn't affect your pull the trigger. Can you hear me now, John?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. So again, I'm summarizing the points that you need to focus on. Once you set up your entity, you're going to be able to apply for business credit cards. Why is that so important? Because they're going to give you a big line of credit and cash advance. So you're going to use that to pay for rehab, labor and material, and then line of credits can also be used as cash advance when you need money for a down payment or a bond at the village. Second thing that you need to do, apply for business line of credits with Harmony lenders, okay? The ones that I show you. So when you're ready to pull the trigger, they can put your loan, your deal through underwriting right away, okay? Then you need to build, foster relationships with private money lenders. So they're passive investors who have a lot of money who chose to exchange their money for an interest rate or return on their investment of about 12%. So super, super important to build relationships with them. We're gonna give you access to over 6,000 of them, and also our in-network list of private money lenders. So that is huge. Then conventional lenders, you're going to use them on the back end just to refinance and pay off the expensive Harmony lenders or private money lenders to put your fix and flip loan into a rental loan, meaning a 20-year term or 25-year term, 5.5 interest rate, and that's just how you're gonna grow exponentially and build an incredible net worth, okay, over time. So before we go into the case study, are there any questions that I can help you answer?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, my question is if you do the conventional lending, do they do your credit check?
Yeah, conventional lenders are gonna ask you for a little bit more personal information. So they're gonna run your credit. They're gonna ask you for tax returns. They're gonna ask you for leases on the properties. But again, if you have, and they're gonna ask you for reserves. But if you have equity on the deal, that is, I would say, one of the most important things that you need to have, that they need to look at. You need to meet their debt coverage ratio of 1.2. Let me tell you what that means. So if you are collecting, let's say 1,200 in rent, they want to make sure that all your expenses are about 1,000. So they want you to have an excess cash of about 20%. That's what the debt coverage ratio means. They want to make sure that you're able to pay the mortgage. But yeah, conventional lenders are going to require a little bit more personal information. But yeah, the term is long-term, lower interest rate, so we use them on the back end. We never use them on the front end to buy the property, and the reason why is because they want a property that it's in almost moving condition, right? And those are the properties that we do not buy because they are already overpriced. So we need meeting the bond. We need to come in and add value to the property to really make money in real estate. We don't want to buy properties that are already rehabbed. So that is why we just use them on the back end. Any other questions?
Yes. Why do you need a business credit card to fund the rehab if the hard money lender will pay for it?
Thank you. Great question. Great question. So the reason why is because even though they're gonna finance 100% of the rehab, let's say that your rehab is gonna be 30,000, they're not gonna give you the money upfront for you to do the work. And the reason why is because it's for risk management purposes. So they don't want you to run over budget. They don't want you to do nothing and spend that money elsewhere. Does that make sense? So they want to make sure that you complete the project, and after you complete the project, they're going to send an inspector, and if everything is done according to your scope of work, then they're going to release the funds. So that's the only drawback. They're going to give you 100%, but after you do the work. So to me, it's like, oh my goodness, now I need to come up with 30,000. So we've been using business credit cards to pay for labor, material. So when you pay for, let's say, electricians, plumbers, we pay them with credit cards. When we go to Home Depot, Menards, we use a business credit card. And then some contractors may want to get paid cash. Then guess what? We go to the bank and we do a cash advance. I mean, it's expensive, but we just use that for about a month, 2 months, and that's it. So that's when we use the business credit cards. And the good thing about this is that it does not affect your FICO score. So you can max out your line of credit and it's not going to affect your FICO score. They're two separate credit cards. Only when you default in the monthly payment, then it's going to go back in and affect your FICO score. So that is why it's like free money to me. But yeah, hard money lenders and even private money lenders, they want to make sure that you do the work up front yourself and fund it. So that is why business credit cards are critical. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Great question. Another question? Okay, so somebody's asking for the name of the credit cards. Yeah, so please send us an email. I'm gonna put the email, support@chicagodealvault.com. So send us an email, and then we're gonna send you the Harmony lenders. We're gonna send you the business credit cards that you need to apply for yourself. It's just as easy as filling out a form online. Please don't pay these third-party companies because they're going to charge you 10% of whatever you get. So if you get 10,000 or 40, 50,000, they're going to charge you 10% of that just for filling out applications. I mean, I was so upset, but I didn't know any better. So that is why now we're giving you those companies, their phone numbers, so that you do that yourself. It's going to take you less than half a day to do all of that. Are there any other questions? When setting up an entity, can you explain the question, Natalie? I don't understand the question. When setting up an entity, is credit card on the ability?
Hey, Hugo, I'm here.
Oh, okay,
Hugo.
yeah. Yeah, what's
So
the question?
is it easier to set up, do you get funded easier with an LLC or a Corp when you go to the bank? Do they favor an corporation or LLC for funds?
Oh, great question. There's no difference. As long as you have either an S Corp or an LLC, it doesn't matter. They want to see an entity. They don't want to see your personal name because it's too risky for them, because we're in a judicial state that the foreclosure process can take up to 2 years. So it's insane, right? But if it's under your entity name, in less than 6 months, they can take over the property.
Okay.
And like Georgia, it's a non-judicial state. They can take over the real estate in about 3 months. I mean, it's just extremely fast under an entity, okay? So yeah, they're gonna favor either S Corp entity, doesn't matter, so long you have an entity. So you only have like 3 options. S Corp, C Corp, again, stay away from C Corp, double taxation at the corporate and individual level. So no C Corp, just S Corp for one individual like yourself. And if it's 2 or more, do an LLC. Stay away from serious LLCs, it just complicates way too much. And then you need to file returns for every single one of them. So it's just too complicated. Don't have extra overhead. It's just an LLC. And then, a common question, I wanna address this right now. People think that you need to create an entity for every property that you buy. That's a myth. It's a misconception, and that's not the way you need to do it. So it has to be driven by equity. So you can put as many properties as you need to into a one entity until you reach equity of about $500,000. Before then, it doesn't make sense to put properties into individual LLCs, because if you don't have equity in the properties or enough equity, your risk is very little. But when you build equity of over $500,000, then you need to start moving properties into new LLCs or S Corps. Does that make sense? Just for asset protection. So that's the rule of thumb. It's driven by equity. So a lot of people start creating the LLCs for every single property, even if they don't have enough equity. That's just a lot of overhead and unnecessary expenses you're incurring. So great questions. Are there any other questions? Hugo, everywhere I apply to credit, they don't want to lend to my LLC. They want to lend to me personally. Can you explain that further? Oh, Matthew. Oh, let me tell you, unless you are reaching out to conventional lenders, but yeah, conventional lenders, some of them, they want everything to be under your name. But
hey, Hugo. I've applied to a couple different hard money lenders, and they all want me, you fill out the application, and everything is personal information, pulling your credit scores, all of that. It's not really it's to your entity, but they're pulling all your information.
We can't hear you.
so they might pull your credit. That is just their protocol, but it doesn't mean they're going to give them the loan to your name. They're going to give it to your entity. Okay, they're just waiting for a great deal for you to give them, and they're going to put it on their through underwriting.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but remember, when you reach out to them, ask for the line of credit. Let me go back on the slide. Ask for the line of credit, or pre-approval letter or proof of funds, however they want to call it, these letters, like the one I'm showing on the screen, or this one, Albika calls it proof of funds, or Barnett, I think, is approval letter, whatever they want to call it, it doesn't matter. Just get this letter because then they have in the system. You can present these with your offers. That makes your offer very strong. Okay, and then once you submit the deal over to them, and they'll put it through underwriting, and it's going to be under your entity, not under your name. And in fact, let me tell you, the inventory, we have a special inventory, banked on properties, so shadow inventory, that we have the ability to pull them from the back door, but those deals can only be purchased under your entity. Again, it is so critical for you to have that in place. Any other question? I for business with Chase and was denied because my business is too new. I started LLC in October 2019. Okay, Chase, we do have a credit card with Chase. We have over 7 banks, large banks. PNC is one of them. We'll send you the list. So if Chase didn't give you anything, don't worry. Our favorite by far is Bank of America. I mean, Bank of America is just, it's just amazing. So please send us an email. We'll give you the list of more than 5. I think it's 7 of them. So Chase is one of them. We have Bank of America, PNC, American Express, and several others. You're denied by one, don't be discouraged. Okay. Next, are there any other questions? I incorporated 4 months ago with an excellent Paydex score due to 5 years vendors. Can I apply for business credit cards now? Yeah, absolutely. You can apply for business credit cards. Are there any other questions? Let me see. I want to make sure that
Hello,
I didn't.
hello,
Yes,
Uva.
go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So I had a question about conventional banks. So you
Okay.
mentioned the example of when you buy a property for 100 and then you have a spread of 75 to 100. Can you re-explain that, please?
Oh, okay. Absolutely. So conventional lenders have a big, and they are going to require you to have 20 to 25 equity in the property. So what does that mean? Purchase the property, resell the property, and rent the property. Okay? So the property is in very good condition, so they're going to do an appraisal on the property. So if the property appraises for 200,000, they're going to give you a loan for up to, let's say, 75%. So 150,000. So they're gonna give you 150,000. So let's assume that you bought it for 100 and you put in 30 for the rehab. Guess what? You have the option to cash out. So you say yes, give me a loan for 150,000. You're gonna pay off 100,000 plus rehab to the hard money lender, meaning 130,000. And guess what? You can even cash out 20,000. Okay, that's super powerful. So that is the key of finding great deals with a lot of equity and that requires very little rehab or less than 40,000. So again, they want to make sure that you have 25% equity. Some of them go outside of 30% equity, but most of them don't have. So again, out of if the property prices for 200,000, they're going to give you 150,000. And with that 150,000, you start able to pay the company lender what they gave you for the purchase price, what they gave you for the rehab, and if there's money left, guess what? You can use that cash out to buy another property. So that's basically your.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you need multiple business bank accounts to get approved for different business cards? No, we only have two business checking accounts, Chase and Bank of America. I love Bank of America, by the way, for checking and also for business credit cards. The big, large, humongous credit card that we have that I show you on the screen is from Bank of America. Okay, so we love Bank of America. Another question. I tried hard money lenders, and on the application, I was always asked for past experience as a condition of acquiring the loan. With no experience, the hard money lenders will only lend 65 to 75% of their rehab value. Okay, so great point. For those of you who, let's say, have no experience, right? Because they're going to ask you about your experience, how many deals you've done, how many properties you've rehab, how many rentals you own, and so forth. So if you have not much experience, they are going to lend, as you said, 65, I lost that number, 65 to 75% of the ARV. Okay, so that's going to be, I just want to make sure that I clarify that, of the ARV. So hard money lenders are going to do an appraisal on the property. And guess what? They're going to give you two values. They're going to give you the as-is value and also the after repair value. So for instance, if you buy a property, let me just give you an example. We just closed on a property in Elmwood Park, which, by the way, guys, I'm going to take you to that property this Saturday. Is going to be a live event. Please make sure that you RSVP ASAP, because we can run live events up to 50 people. So I'm sure we're going to have 50 people in that house. Okay, so I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you a tour of the property before the rehab. And not only that, but I'm going to explain to you how we found the property, who we're using for funding, how we came up with the scope of work, and the whole 9 yards. So please make sure that you come this Saturday at 1 p.m. in Elmwood Park. So they did an appraisal on the property. We bought it for $150. The as-is value was $215. Okay, so as-is value $215. So right off the bat, we had like quite a lot of money in equity. And then the ARV after repair value was 265. So what the hard money lender is going to do, I'm going to put it on the screen. I'm going to pull up my calculator. So they're going to give you 65%. So calculator. So if the property's ARV after repair value is 265, they're going to give you 65% of that. So that is 172,000. So we bought it for 150. So that means they can give us up to the difference, 22,000 for rehab. But in this case, the hard money lender that we're using, they can lend up to 75%. So 265 is the ARV after repair value. So they can lend up to 75%, 195, 198, but we only need 150 for the purchase, and then we need, like, for the rehab, it's going to be like 38 or so. So they're going to finance all of it, but they want us to have skin on the game, even if we're experienced. So we're going to need to put down 10 or 15%, okay, for the down payment. So 10 or 15% is about 20,000 plus closing costs and so forth. It's over 20,000, okay. But that's just an example. Great point. Yeah, hard money lenders are going to finance between 65 to 75% of the ARV after repair value, okay? And again, on the appraisal, they're going to give you two numbers, the as-is value and the after repair value. So they're going to fund 65 to 75 of the ARV. So great point. And that includes the purchase plus the rehab. And they typically want you to have 10% down. So
Can't hear you.
thank you for letting me know. So what I was saying is that if you don't have the money for the down payment, you can tap into your business cash advance line of credit, okay, for the down payment. But again, a great question. Hard money lenders are going to give you 65 to 75% of the ARV after repair value. Great point, and that includes the purchase price plus the rehab. But again, hard money lenders, all of them want you to have skin in the game. So they're going to ask you to put 10 to 15% down payment. So if the property price is 150, they want you to put at least 15,000. And then if you don't have that 15,000, we go to the credit card, right? So we tap into the cash advance. Are there any other questions? Are most of the properties you acquire off market? Absolutely. That's where the big profit spreads are. So I'm going to show you some examples. And in fact, you know, the property that we closed on about a month ago in Man Prospect that has a greater spread of 100,000. So we're going to give you the numbers on that. And also the one we're showing you on Saturday, again, it has a spread of about 115,000. And these properties are all off market, banked on properties that we can pull from the back door. So I'm going to show you how we do that. Any other questions? Phil, do you have any other questions? So Field, I tried on the business credit source you recommended on this webinar, and I was asked personal information. I was asking for business credit. I received a small amount of business credit. However, I noticed the credit card has both my name and my business name on the card. This makes me believe that my personal credit was used to obtain the. Not really. So your personal credit, I'm gonna tell you, your personal credit is used even by Harmony lenders to determine the terms of the loan. So if you have, let's say, a 700 and up FICO score, you're gonna get better terms. So if the Harmony lender has the option to give you between 9 and 12, guess what? If you have a FICO of over 700, you're gonna get 9% interest rate. But if you have, let's say, 600, they might give you a 12% interest rate, okay? Because to them, you're a little bit higher risk. But again, they're gonna give you the money. So your personal FICO score, personal credit, is just going to determine what the terms of the loan is going to be. Again, primarily interest rate. So the better the FICO, the better the interest rate you're gonna get. That's about it. But are you gonna get the money if you have a great deal? Yes, you will. So that's simple. Are there any other questions? Can I ask funds to buy, rehab, and hold? Actually, yeah, they have programs for buy and hold and flipping. Okay, so for both. And then nowadays, some Harmony lenders can put their loan into a rental loan. So the fix and flip loan or rehab loan can be turned into a rental loan. They're doing that nowadays because they're losing business, right? If you go to another lender, they're losing business. So now they're getting smart, and Harmony lenders are giving you the option to turn your rehab loan into a rental loan. It's a great option, but what we experience is that they're not giving you the best interest rate as conventional lenders. They can do that, and it's easy because they already have your profile, but they're not giving you the lowest interest rate. So we are still going to conventional lenders for refinance. We have a couple of properties that we use the Harmony lender to put the rehab loan into a rental loan, long-term, lower interest rate, but still the interest rate was over 6%. So we're not so happy with those. In fact, we're refinancing those properties right now. We want to have low fives. What is the link for the live tour when I sign up? Okay, so this is, we're gonna send you the link so that you can reserve for Saturday. Make sure that you come Saturday. It's gonna be a live event. Okay, so I'll send you the link for this one, property tour Elmwood Park. So again, we can have up to 50 people at this event. Make sure that you RSVP, super important. Okay, now I'm gonna show you very quickly, just before the case study, right? So this is a property, Man Prospect. Last week we did the webinar after rehab. So we rehabbed the property. Now it looks beautiful. It got rented right away in a few days. So this property, you know, as you can see, was in the auctioning platform, but we have access to all the Bankton properties. So even if people were bidding 198 one day before the auction was over, guess what? In ChicagoDealVault, we knew we needed to pay a lot less than that. Max offer, we knew we needed to pay like no more than 170 for the property, and this property is worth like 280. So guess what? we got it on the contract for 160,000. Okay, so this is where you have a spread of 100,000. So add 100,000 to 160 is 260, and the property appraised for close to 280. So it's another great deal that I'm going to show you on Saturday. So we pretty much 70,000 less. So I'm going to show you in ChicagoDealVault. Imagine if this could happen to you, how you can have access to this inventory. So I'm going to show you that right now. In ChicagoDealVault, let me quickly log in to show you, because now that we covered funding, I'm going to show you now finding deals, right? Great deals. So right here, we have this shadow inventory. This is off market. So here we have a lot of off market lead pipes. This is where you're going to find most profit spreads like probates, pre-foreclosures, upcoming auctions, banked on properties, vacant properties. And then we have this special banked on properties or shadow inventory that we get on a weekly basis, about 500 to 1,000 properties a week. Okay, so in here, these are the properties that are going to go to the auctioning platforms that we can pull from the back door. So we can filter by occupancy, we can plot them in the map, and by equity. So I can say, give me just the great deals. Out of these 500, I found, let's say, 25 that I believe are great deals. Now, plot all of these deals on the map. Show me the awesome deals. And why are they awesome? I'm going to show you. So they're all over. So let me just quickly click on one of them. So this property is in Des Plaines. Des Plaines is a great neighborhood, great rental market. Why is this a great deal? This is a 3-bedroom, 2,000 square feet. So we can buy it for 150,000, and this property is worth over 350,000. Of course, we have to see the property from the inside and see how much work it needs, okay, to bring it up to its previous glory and make sure that it appraises for like this much. So again, so these are the type of deals. So right now, in few seconds, I found like 25 awesome deals with a lot of equity. So up north, there's another property. Antioch is quite far. Let me go here. Maywood. So why is this a great deal? Because we can buy this for 70,000, and this property will appraise after repair value for close to 170 or so. So we had a $100,000 spread on these from what you can pay for the property to what it can be appraised for. So these are the type of deals that we get on a weekly basis that you can have access to. And these are pretty much all over now. We're even getting deals from Indiana. So that's what I like to see. I like to plot them on the map and then look at the properties right away. So if you find a great deal, you can buy it and get it on the contract right away. Okay, so this is another example. This is in Chicago, West Pullman. So these we can buy for 54, and ARV. No, this doesn't make any sense, right? This property, for some reason, I don't know why this made it to this list, because it doesn't have enough equity. So this is just an example of how quickly you find great deals with a lot of equity. And not only that, but we tell you, we do the analysis for you, right? So we show you the most you should pay for the property, which usually is right here. We tell you how much you are going to need to pay for it. And this is the max allowed offer, right? So it's way below that. So this makes it like a great deal. Obviously, so long the rehab is not like a gold rehab. Remember, the rehab should be less than 40,000 to make it an incredible deal. When you have a spread of about 100,000 on top of the what you're going to pay for the property. Okay, so here you can have access to all of these. So before we give you access to the system and all the resources, are there any other questions that I can help you answer? So, okay, if no further questions, so this is
Wait,
where we have.
I have a quick
Yes.
question.
Yes.
When it comes to, let's say you want to rehab a property, how do you
Yes.
know, or who has like a quality or a good reputation of trusting people to do the rehab?
Okay, so in the system, in ChicagoDealVault, we have a list of preferred partners right here. So we have over 100 people right here, from contractors, inspectors, attorneys, brokers, you name it. So
Got it.
all the people
Okay.
that we use, we pretty much put it right here. So these are vetted individuals, and we've had people, right, that they're even willing to pay us to be in this list, but we cannot put them because we've got to use them. They have to have a proven record for us to really put them on this list. So because when we started about 2.5 years ago, that was my one of our main struggle, right? So
Hmm.
we need contractors, reliable contractors, attorneys, appraisers, inspectors. It was just a big struggle, and if you work with the wrong individual, then the whole thing can collapse. So you've got to make sure that you work with the right team. So these are like over 90 people that are at your disposal, from attorneys, accountants, you name it. And the private money lenders that I was telling you about right here, over 60,000, over 6,000 private money lenders, cash buyers right here. So if you want to do a wholesale deal, right there, preferred partners, training, unlimited training on ChicagoDealVault. You can also search the MLS because we're a brokerage, so we give you access to the MLS as if you were a broker from ChicagoDealVault. So you can also find MLS deals. We've been focusing on off-market properties, and something that we're doing right now is when you become part of ChicagoDealVault, we're gonna assign a dedicated virtual assistant to help you find off-market deals. So even if you don't have access, even if you don't have time to log into the system, that's okay. Give us as many areas as you're interested in, and we're gonna have a VA help you find great deals. So we're gonna analyze the deal for a flip, for a rental, pull the comps, give you the owner's contact information, so the whole 9 yards for you to really be successful 2020. Okay,
Thank you.
no problem. Are there any other questions on the line? Okay, so you said you check the credit tax returns, reserves. They are checking these items in the business, or are they checking my personal? So they're gonna pull your credit, your personal credit. And then for your business, yeah, they're gonna ask you for if you have any business accounts. They're gonna ask you for that. So yeah, they really want to get the entire profile from you, but just fill out everything they ask you for. It's totally worth it. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna to have access to this shadow inventory and the whole 9 yards. You have two options right here. So we have the monthly subscription that is 140 a month. We give you everything that I show you, and it's 30-day money back guarantee. And also we have the yearly membership that we're going to give you access to this shadow inventory that you can pull the properties from the back door. We're going to give you access to the VA who can help you find all these off-market deals. We can partner up with you on deals. We're going to give you scripts to set up appointments, talk to sellers. We can help you blast your deals. If you want to do wholesaling, we're going to give you the top flipping and rental markets in the city and in the suburbs. We're going to give you the scope of work spreadsheet so that you can come up with your rehab estimate accurately. We're going to give you some cheat sheets that we utilize when doing flips and rentals. So these are the cheat sheets. We're going to give you also a rental calculator, flip or rent calculator that will determine what you need to do. And again, everything has incredible value. I call these priceless, okay? And it's 120 a month, but it's billed annually. It's less than a cup of coffee a day. Again, 30 days money back guaranteed. So if you're ready to be successful today, the way to start up, again, it's 120 per month. So you're going to be saving 15 to 20% if you do the yearly subscription. Plus, we're going to give you access to that shadow inventory that you can pull from the back door. And that's where we've been buying like the last 5-6 properties, shadow inventory, Bankton property. So we're going to give you access to that inventory. So to sign up, we're going to give you access. So that's the form that you need to fill out. So I'm going to send this via the chat right now. So for you to have access, either if you want to do the monthly or the yearly, you can get started right now. So I'm gonna here send you the link to the form. So retail is 190, or 166 per month, but we have a special. I'm gonna give you the promo code. So this is the link to sign up. If you want to do the monthly, select for the package right here. In the package, if you want to do the monthly, select right here, standard Lamborghini. Standard Lambo. Okay. If you want to do the yearly, select standard Blue Angel. Okay. And then the promo code is funding. So, and then again, it's 30-day money back. 30-day money back. And also, we have unlimited training, one-on-one via Zoom. Okay. So unlimited training. And then please make sure that you RSVP to Saturday's event. We can take up to 50 people. We're going to show you everything, how we found the deal, scope of work, numbers, the whole 9 yards. Please RSVP because we only can have up to 50 people at that property. So again, this is the form that you need to fill out. I'm going to remain on the line for the next 5 minutes. If you have any other questions, I can answer right now. So thank you everyone for joining today. And please set up your entity, apply for business credit cards, apply for business line of credits with hard money lenders, and also start finding great deals. Have access to the system because that's all you require to be successful in real estate. If you have a great deal, guess what? There are plenty of hard money lenders who can give you the money for funding and rehab. Okay, so thank you again, everyone, for joining. We're going to send you the replay first thing in the morning. And please, if you don't have access to DealVault, get it now. If you want to upgrade to the Blue Angel, just send us an email to support@ChicagoDealVault.com and say upgrade to Blue Angel, and we can upgrade you to Blue Angel. So again, if you have any questions, I'm going to be on the line for the next 5 minutes to help you get started. So thank you everyone for joining.